Hello everyone, and welcome back to our Shir and Dirshu Bahalacha. Before I continue with the Mishnah Berurah, I just want to give a little update on the plans for the Shir going forward. We're coming to the end of the summer, so Baruch Hashem, I'll be back soon. Mir Hashem saying the Shir live in Rav Palak Shul. Now, I'm looking forward to rejoining the Dirshu schedule. Now, if you look at the Dirshu calendar, Dirshu is going to be beginning Hilchas Rosh Chodesh, which begins at Siman Tuf Yud Zayin, I believe. Yes, Tuf Yud Zayin, which is at the bottom of Reish Pei Aleph Amud Aleph. They're going to be starting Siman Tuf Yud Zayin on Labor Day. So my plan is, Mir Hashem, for the Shir to reconvene in Rav Palak Shul live on Labor Day and to begin with Tuf Yud Zayin. Now, Baruch Hashem, we've worked our way from the beginning of Chelik Daled through Hilchas Eruvei Chatzeros, and I don't want to skip out the rest of Hilchas Eruvei Chatzeros. We don't have that much left to Eruvei Chatzeros, so my plan is to complete Hilchas Eruvei Chatzeros Mir Hashem over the course of this coming week in these recordings. Each year will Mir Hashem cover a little bit more ground than we've been covering until now, so we should be able to complete Hilchas Eruvei Chatzeros this week, and then I would skip Hilchas Eruvei Tchumen. Mir Hashem, we'll have to get to it another time, but for now I would skip from the end of Hilchas Eruvei Chatzeros, I would skip Eruvei Tchumen, and I would rejoin the Dirshu schedule on Labor Day, beginning with Hilchas Rosh Chodesh, and endeavor to keep up to the Dirshu schedule going forward. Those days where we've missed Shiurim in the past, whether it's Yom Tovim or Simchas, I think what we'll have to do is we'll have to use the technology. I'll have to record Shiurim on days like that so that the Olam could make it up. But there are other people that are making use of the Shir as well. I'm looking forward to even getting a greater audience, and I really would like to stick to the Dirshu schedule. So Mir Hashem, that's the plan. You'll excuse the drink. I don't usually like doing that in the middle of Shir, but my throat is a little amiss. So it needs a little lubrication. All right, so now let's rejoin where we're holding. So we are on Reish Nun Vav Amud Aleph near the bottom. We're holding in Siman Shin Pei Vav, and we're holding in the middle of Sif Ches. So in the beginning of Sif Ches, the Mechaber told us that you can make a Shetufei Mavuos even using a food that you cannot personally eat. So if you have something that you can't eat, and the examples that the Mechaber gave, or let's say a Nazir who can't have Yayin, he could still make a shitufei mavuos using yayin, because even though it's not fit for his own personal consumption, still other people can eat it or drink it, and since it's fit for human consumption, you could use it for a shitufei mavuos, even though you personally cannot consume it. Now, 2 lines from the bottom, the Mechaber continues. V'chein hanoider me'oichel zeh. Let's say somebody made a neder that he will not partake of a certain type of food, or he made a shavua that he will not eat that food, still mishtatef ba. But you could still go ahead and you could still use that food for a shitufei mavuos. The Mishnah Berurah says all the way on the bottom, and I cut memches, v'chein, if you made a neder or a shvua not to eat a particular food, you could still use it for a shituf, says the Chavetz Chaim, hayol v'chazi la'achrini. Because while it's true that you can't eat that food because of your personal neder or shvua, since other people can, it's just like a food, just like the nazir with the yayin. Even though he can't eat it or drink it, somebody else can, so it's okay. However, in the bottom of Reish Nun Vav Amud Aleph, the Mechaber continues, Avol, im nadar oy nishba, shelo yehana mimenu. Let's say somebody made a neder or a shvua that he will not derive any benefit at all, any hana, from that food, then ein mishtatvin leiba, then you cannot use that food to make a shetufei mevuos. Says the Mishnah Berurah Nice Cut Memtes, ein mishtatvin leiba, da'af agav dechazi la'achrini, because while this food is still fit for somebody else's consumption, mikamakay marehu nena al yidei tikun zeh, still the person who's making the shetufei mevuos is deriving benefit, he's deriving pleasure from this food by virtue of the fact that he's using it for a shituf. So over here, it's not a case where this person can't eat it, but other people can, so you could use it for a shituf. Over here, there's a new problem. How could you go ahead and use, let's say, a piece of cake to make a shetufei mevuos if you made a neder or a shvua that you will not derive any hana, any benefit from that piece of cake? You are deriving benefit from the piece of cake. And you forbade yourself to derive any pleasure from that piece of cake. So once you make a neder or a shvur that you won't get hana from it, you can't use it for a shituf. Now the Chavetz Chaim makes an interesting point. V'dafka shituf ayaruve chatzeros. This halach is only true by a shetufei mevuos or an eruve chatzeros shema arvin l'dvar harishus. Because the halacha by shituf and by eruve chatzeros is you're allowed to make an eruve chatzeros or shetufei mevuos for any reason at all. You want to be able to take your lawn chair on Shabbos afternoon from your house out into the yard in the bungalow colony, you can make it a eruve chatzeros, even if you're not using the lawn chair for the Pirkei Avos, even if you're going to use the lawn chair just to take a nap, still, that's a dvar rishus, but you can make it a eruve chatzeros or a shetufei mevuos for a dvar rishus. Aval, however, eruve tchumen, by eruve tchumen the halacha is she'ein ma'arvin elo l'dvar mitzvah. We only make an eruve tchumen when we're doing it for a mitzvah. So let's say somebody wants to go to a shir. Somebody wants to go to the dirshu shir on Shabbos afternoon, and the dirshu shir is out of the tchum. So he can make an eruve tchumen to extend his tchum by 2,000 amas in order to get to the dirshu shir. But to go for a dvar rishus, that you can't make an eruve tchumen for. Therefore, if you want to use something, a food item, to make it a eruve tchumen, and you made a neder that you will not derive any hana from that piece of food, now you want to use it for an eruve tchumen, you can. Why? Mutter. The mitzvah of slav le'hanais nitnu. Because what benefit are you deriving from the food? The benefit that you're deriving is that you used it for an eruve tchumen. And eruve tchumen you're only allowed to make for a dvar mitzvah. Mitzvah slav le'hanais nitnu. V'loi mekshav hana. The hana that you're able to do a mitzvah, that's not considered hana. Because mitzvah slav le'hanais nitnu. When you do the Ratzon HaBoreh, when you fulfill a mitzvah, that's not called that you're getting hana. You're doing something that you're mechuyev to do. So that's not called hana. Mitzvah slav le'hanais nitnu. So that's not a problem. Now the Chavetz Chaim makes another point here. V'hinei melashon hamechaber mashma. From the language of the mechaber, it implies. What did the mechaber say here? The mechaber said that if you make a neder from or a shvua not to eat a particular food, you could still use it for an eruv. Then he said that yesh oimrim, there are those that say that that's only true if the neder or the shvua that you made was that you won't eat it. But if you made a neder or a shvua that you won't get hana from it, then you can't use it for a shetufei mevuos. But in the language of the mechaber, it's clear that this is only a yesh oimrim. So what does the first opinion on Reish Nun Vav Amud Aleph hold? The implication is that the first opinion holds, even if you made a neder or a shvua that you will not get hana from this food item, you're still allowed to use it to make a shetufei mevuos. Now that's a little puzzling. Why would that be? But let's see what the Mishnah Berurah says inside. From the lashon of the mechaber, the implication is that according to the first opinion, even if you made a neder or a shvua that you will not derive hana from a food, it's still mutter to use that food for an eruv or for a shituf. Aval, but the Chavetz Chaim says, Kama Achrayim Kasvu, many Achrayim write, Da'af L'dei Rishayna, that even according to the first opinion in the Mechaber, Aser benadar oynishba beferish shelo yehane. Even the first opinion would agree that if you made a neder or a shvur that you will not derive benefit from a food, you can't use it for an erev or a shituf. It's very difficult to understand why the Dei Rishona would argue on that. How would the Dei Rishona explain that even though you made a neder that you're not going to derive benefit from a food, you still should be able to use it for a shituf? So for that reason, most of the Achrayim seem to say that no, even the first opinion agrees with this halacha. If you made a neder not to derive benefit from a food, you cannot use it to make an erev or a shituf. Now let's go back into the Mechaber. Let's see the words of the Ramah on the top line. Let's say somebody made a neder that he's not going to eat or derive benefit from this food. But when he made this neder, he used the language of kainam. What's kainam? So if we learn Mesechtes Nedarim or Hilchos Nedarim, we find that the word kainam is another way of saying it's slang for the word carbon. When somebody makes a neder, what's he doing? He's asering that item on himself. He's prohibiting himself from deriving hana from that item. Now we know that when something belongs to Hegdish, you're not allowed to derive hana from it. So certainly if an animal was set aside as a carbon, you're not allowed to derive hana from that animal. So when somebody says, kainam lechem zeh, this bread should be like a kainam to me, what he's actually saying is that this bread should be to me like a carbon. And the same way I'm not allowed to derive benefit from a carbon, I'm also not allowed to derive benefit from this piece of bread. Now the Mechaber says, if a person made a neder on a piece of food, and he used the language of kainam, which is slang for carbon, then lekulei alma ein mishtatef ba. Then, even though we said, according to the first opinion, certainly on Reish Nun Vav Amud Aleph, we said, if you go ahead and you make a neder that you're not going to eat a certain piece of food, you're still allowed to use it for an erev, right? Because you can't eat it, but somebody else can eat it. Now the Ramah is telling me, not if you used the word kainam. If when you made that neder, you said kainam hanasai achilasai alai, then even if you only mentioned achila, even if you only mentioned eating, and you didn't say that you're not going to derive benefit from it, even according to the first opinion, you're not allowed to use this food item to make a shetufei mavuos. Why would that be? Let's take a look in the Mishnah Berurah. Ice cotton mem tes. No, I'm sorry. Ice cotton nun. V'em amar kainam. If you use the language of kainam, hatam. The reason for this is even though we said that normally if you make a neder that you're not going to eat a food, you're still allowed to use it for a shituf because it's chazi lachrini, because somebody else could eat it. Hainu b'shaloi hiskir l'shayin kainam. This is only true when you didn't use the language of kainam. Aval ba'omer lashon kainam. But if you did say kainam, afilu hiskir beferish achila, even if your neder was only that you're not going to eat it, so you didn't make a neder that you're not going to derive benefit from it. You only made a neder that you're not going to eat this piece of food. But you said kainam, gam kain ein mishtatfen ba. Then, even in this case, you cannot use this food item for a shetufei mavuos. Why? The kainam hu l'shayin carbon. Because like we said, kainam is another way of saying carbon. V'isharis bazeh, and if, the Chazal were afraid, if we will allow you to go ahead and use this food item that you made a neder with kainam to go ahead and make a shituf, asi lemishrei gam b'shal hegdish gomor, you might come to make a shituf out of something that actually does belong to hegdish. And everybody would agree that you cannot make an erev or a shituf out of something that really does belong to hegdish. Something that belongs to hegdish is also to everybody. So, in essence, what the Mishnah Berurah is explaining here is, if a person makes a neder that he's not going to eat a particular challah, he's still allowed to use it for a shituf. Why? Because even though he can't eat it, somebody else can. But if somebody makes a neder with the word kainam that he's not going to eat the challah, then he cannot use it for a shituf. Why? Because kainam is another way of saying carbon. If we'll allow you to use this challah, even though you made a neder with kainam, somebody else might come to actually make a shituf with something that belongs to hegdish. Now, to make a shituf with a challah that belongs to hegdish, that you certainly cannot do, because the only reason you're allowed to make a shituf out of a challah that you made a neder you won't eat is because somebody else is allowed to eat it. But if the challah actually belongs to hegdish, then no one's allowed to eat it. So a challah of hegdish you certainly cannot use for a shituf. So if we'll allow you to use you a challah where you made a neder with the word kainam, which is akin to carbon, you might come to make a shituf with a challah that actually belongs to hegdish. And that certainly you cannot use because that's aser l'chol ha'olam. And the Mishnah Berurah ends off here, and he says, Olinian dina ayin bebir halacha. As far as the halacha lamaisa, he tells you to take a look at the bir halacha. He's referring to bir halacha divrei hamaschil v'em amar kainam l'kulei alma. It's a lengthy, somewhat lengthy bir halacha. What the bir halacha comes out over there is that halacha lamaisa, we ruled that it doesn't matter, and even if you went ahead and even if you said kainam, as long as the neder was only that you will not eat it, if your neder with kainam was that you will not eat this particular challah, you're still allowed to use it for your shituf mevuos. Okay, now let's go to siftes. Amar al kikar, you said on a loaf, on a challah, Amar al kikar, hayoim chayil. Today, you're talking on Erev Shabbos. Today, this kikar should be a regular chulin kikar, a regular chulin piece of challah. Ulamachar kodesh oikainam. But I'm making a neder that tomorrow on Shabbos, this kikar, this lechem, should be aser to me bahana. It should be like hegdish or like a carbon. Mishtatvin loiba. You still could use this to make your shituf. Now, what did this guy say? Basically, this guy is standing on Erev Shabbos, and he's saying on Erev Shabbos, this kikar should be mutter to me. On Shabbos, it should be aser to me. Now, we've learned many times, when is an Erev or a sheet of chal? It's chal during Ben Hashmashos. That's when it's chal. Oh, says the Mechaber, shebein Hashmashos adayin loy niskacha vadai. When Ben Hashmashos arrives, this kikar is not yet aser. Because what's Ben Hashmashos? Ben Hashmashos is a safek yom, safek laila. Now you said that this kikar should be mutter to you on Friday. It should be aser to you on Shabbos. Ben Hashmashos is a safek. Is it Friday or is it Shabbos? So like the Chavetz Chaim is going to tell us in the Mishnah Berurah, the iser of your neder is not chal on the kikar during Ben Hashmashos misafek. So it only becomes aser when it's vaday laila. By that time, the Erev was already chal. So you could use this kikar to make an Erev or a shituf. Because this kikar was available to you, it was mutter to you, miba'id yom. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah, Eis Kat Nun Aleph. Hayoim chalu lamachar kodesh. This fellow said that this challah should be mutter to me Friday on Erev Shabbos, and tomorrow on Shabbos it should be aser. Pirush, the Erev Shabbos lo yiskadish adayin. On Erev Shabbos, it didn't become aser yet. It's not hegdish yet. Rak lamachar yeh kodesh. It's only tomorrow on Shabbos that it should become like hegdish and become aser. Arminon, then we say the Ben Hashmashos is a dayin loinus kadesh, that during the time period of Ben Hashmashos, which is Savik Yom, Savik Laila, it's not yet like Hegdish, it's not yet Aser. Why? Because the Kedusha does not rest on it, misafik. So therefore you could use this kikar to make a shituf. She'ikar cholos hashitavu bein hashmashos, because just like we learned by Ruve Chatzeros, shetufe mevuos is chal during bein hashmashos. Va'adayin haya oz b'isei hazman hakikar chayil, and at that point in time, this kikar was still mutter. Ois katan nun beis ad shetershach. No, we didn't do that yet. Now let's go to the next case of the Mechaber. It's the second line into Siftes. Aval, however, Imamar, let's say this fellow said the opposite. Imamar hayoim kainam, today on Erev Shabbos it should be aser to me. Ulamachar chayil, and tomorrow on Shabbos it should be muter. Ein mishtatvin loiba. Now you cannot use it for a sheet of mavuos. She'ein ru'uya ad shetech, because now it's the opposite. Now you said today on Erev Shabbos it should be also like Hegdish. Tomorrow it should be mutter. Okay, so today on Erev Shabbos the Isser, the prohibition, is chal on the kikar. When is that Isser going to go off? That Isser is not going to leave misafik. It's not going to leave during Ben Hashmoshes, which is Safik Yom, Safik Laila. The Isser is only going to go off the kikar, when it's Vadai Laila. The Erev has to be Chal Ben Hashmoshes. It can't, because during Ben Hashmoshes it's still Aser. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cotton on bays, Ad Shetashach, Ritzoyna Loimar Laila Gemura. The Isser is not going to go off until it's Vadai night. The Misveicha Loi Paka Kedusha. Because Misafik during Ben Hashmoshes, the Isser is not going to go off. Vim Kain, therefore, at the time period of Ben Hashmoshes, this kikar was also to you. Vein ma'arvin behekdeshos, and you cannot be ma'ariv with something that belongs to Hegdish. Now, it's very interesting. The Mechaber goes off on a complete tangent in middle of a Sif. I think that the Mechaber had some housekeeping to do. He had some last-minute details that he wanted to throw in over here, and he threw it in middle of a Sif. So let's see what the Mechaber says here. Chotzer hapasuach lishnei mavuos. Let's say you had a chotzer that was situated between mavui A and mavui B. So you have mavui A. Mavui A opens up onto three chatzeros. One of the chatzeros is chotzer number 1, we'll call it. That's over here next to the mavui. But chotzer number 1 also has another gateway that goes to mavui B. Mavui B also opens up onto three chatzeros. So you have this chatzer number 1 that is situated between Mavui A and Mavui B, and Mavui A and Mavui B both have other chatzeros that open onto them. So now, in that scenario, says the Mechaber, chatzer hapasuach lishnei mavuos. If you have a chatzer that opens up onto two mavuos, veshiteif im kol echad mehem, and it makes a shetufei mavuos, which with each one of the mavuos that it opens up onto. So basically, the residents of this middle chutzner, they want to be able to take things from their house. They want to be able to take a keli sheshavas babayis, and they want to take it, and they want to be able to bring it to one of the chatzeros in either one of these mavuos. So they joined the shituf of both mavuos. Mutter im kol echad mehem l'taltel mimenu l'chatzer michatzer l'saychai. So that works. Now it's going to be mutter to take anything from any of the houses in either one of the mavuos. So you have a house that opens up onto a chutzner, and that chutzner opens up onto mavui A. You could take a lawn chair from that house, and you could bring it through from the house to the chutzner, from the chutzner to the mavui, and you could bring it into this middle chutzner without a problem, because this middle chutzner joined the shituf of mavui A. The same thing from mavui B. You want to take a lawn chair from a house in a chutzner of mavui B, take it out of the house into the chutzner, into the mavui, and into this middle chutzner. That's no problem, because the middle chutzner is part of both of the shitufei mavuos for both chatzeros. However, says the Mechaber, right by the Ois Cut Nun Gimel for the Mishnah Berurah, va'asel l'taltel kelim sheshavsui b'mavui zeh l'mavui ha'acher derech ha'chotzer. But what you're not allowed to do, now be very careful with the words of the Mechaber here. The words of the Mechaber are va'asel l'taltel kelim sheshavsui b'mavui zeh. You're not allowed to take a keli that started out Shabbos in one of the mevuos. Now, it doesn't mean a lawn chair that started out Shabbos in the mavui proper. It means a lawn chair that started out Shabbos in one of the houses of one of the chatzeros of one of the mevuos. Remember, if a keli started out Shabbos in a mavui or in a chutzner, you could take it to any mavui or any chutzner that you want, as long as they're connected, as long as you're not going through a Rosh Hashanah or something. But from a chutzner to a chutzner, from a mavui to a mavui, you don't need an erev, you don't need a shituf. Kol hachatzeros v'hagagois v'hamavuos, they're all Rosh Hashanah. So that's not a problem. But if it's a keli sheshavas babayis, you have a lawn chair that started out Shabbos in one of the houses of one of the chatzeros. So the scenario that I'm going to give you is, you have a lawn chair that started out Shabbos in the house of the Chatzar that belongs to Mavli A. And now you want to be a wise guy. You want to take the lawn chair out of the house, through the Chatzar, into the Mavli. Now you want to go out the gate of the Mavli, and you want to go into the middle Chatzar. So far you're okay, because that middle Chatzar joined the Shituf of this Mavli. Now you want to be a wise guy, and you want to go out the other gate of the middle Chatzar, and you want to go to the other Mavli. Now that you can't do, because this lawn chair started out Shabbos in a house of one of the Chatzeros of Mavli A. Now Mavli A is not joined with Mavli B. Mavli A is joined with the middle Chatzar, and Mavli B is joined with the middle Chatzar. But Mavli A and Mavli B are not joined, so you cannot use the middle Chatzar as a means of getting from the houses of of one of the Chatzeros of one Mavli out to a Chatzar of the other Mavli. That you cannot do. Okay. So also tatal kelim sheshasa b'mavi zel b'mavi acher derech hachatzar. Let's say the Mishnah Berurah nice cotton on gimel. V'asal taltal shaharei hamavuay shel lo yishitvu yachad, because the two mavuais did not join. They don't have an eruv together. Mavui A made a shetufei mavuais with its chatzeros. Mavui B made a shetufei mavuais with its chatzeros. But the chatzeros of Mavui A and the chatzeros of Mavui B are not joined. It happens to be that the middle chatzar is joined with each one. Now, the Mishnah Berurah says a cute chap. Ulefikach, since this is the problem, therefore, im nasnu shnei amavuay shitufan bechatzer zu bekli echad. Let's say when they made the shituf, what they did was like this. Mavli A, all the chatzeres got together and they made a shituf. Mavli B, they all got together and made a shituf. The middle chatzar wants to join both mavuais. They took the shituf of Mavli A, the shituf of Mavli B, they brought it into the middle chatzar, and they put it all in one keli in the middle chatzar. So now the middle chatzar is part of both. But guess what? Now Mavli A and Mavli B are all joined in one shituf, because all of their stuff is all together in one keli. All of the shitufim are all together in one keli. So now, ipso facto, Mavli A and Mavli B are joined in one big shituf. Now everybody is one big happy family. Now you can take all your lawn chairs wherever you want. Okay. The words of the Chavetz Chaim, Haveluhu kulan ke'echad amutal taltal mi mavi zeh mavi zeh, k'moshe kasav reish siman shenayin ches ayin sham. Now, ois katan nun dalet, I pointed this out to you when I read the Mechaber, sheshavsu b'mavli. The words of the Mechaber were that we're talking about a keli that was shavas in the mavli. Kaloimar, what that means is, bepotim sheba mavli, in one of the houses of one of the chatzeros of the mavli. The ilu be'ez knisas hayoim shavsu b'mavli atzma. If we're talking about a keli that actually began Shabbos in the mavli proper, shari, it would be mutter to take it and bring it somewhere else, because why not? It's a keli sheshavas b'mavli. If it starts off Shabbos in a mavli, you could take it from the mavli to a chatzir, to another chatzir, to another mavli. It doesn't matter. Now let's go to the next case of the Mechaber. So far we had over here, you have this chatzir in between the two mavuais, and we had two cases. We had one case where it joined, so far we had one case where it joined the shituf of each mavui, right? So we said you're allowed to go from that middle chatzir to either side, but you can't use it as a gateway between the two sides. Now we have another case. Let's say the middle chatzar did not join the shituf, not of Mavli A and not of Mavli B. Oh, now you have a problem. If the people who live in this chatzar are accustomed all week long to going through both the mavuais, sometimes they go through Mavli A and they go out to the Rosh Hashanah on this side. Sometimes they go through Mavli B and they go out to the Rosh Hashanah on that side. So the people of this chatzar are accustomed to using both mavuais. Then Oiser al Shneim. Now they're going to aser each one of the mavuais. Now both mavuais have a problem. They have a chatzar that opens onto them that did not join their shituf. If you have a mavui that has three chatzeros opening onto it, and only 2 chatzeros make a shituf, that's like a chatzer that has 20 houses and only 15 houses join the Eruv. It brings down the whole Eruv. So if you have 3 chatzeros and only 2 chatzeros join the shituf, the one that did not brings down the whole shituf. Over here you have this middle chatzer. He's considered to be part of both mavuos, because they're accustomed to using both of them. If they didn't join either shituf, they bring down both shitufin, and neither mavui has a shitufei mavuos. So now, in both mavuos, they're going to have a problem. You're not going to be allowed to transfer a keli sheshalas pabayis in one of the chatzeros into the mavui or through the mavui to another chatzer. Says the Mishnah Berurah is cotton nun hay. He's going to answer on both. Like we learned, if one chatzar doesn't join the shituf, he answers on the rest of the mavui. Now, let's get a little bit more complicated. Let's say the people of this chatzar are only accustomed to using one mavui. They generally go through mavui A, but they don't go through mavui B. They don't use mavui B. So then, so then they're going to aser on the mavui that they're accustomed to use. But they're not going to aser on the other one. Because this leniency we grant the other mavui, we say that this chatzar that didn't join your shituf, they're not accustomed to using you anyway. So we're not going to view this chatzar as being part of your mavui. Even though this chatzar does open onto your mavui, but since this chatzar also opens up onto another mavui, and they're accustomed to using that mavui and not your mavui, this leniency the Chazal gave. Now, they're not going to aser on your mavui. Let's say they're used to using mavui A, and they're not used to using mavui B. But guess what? They joined the shituf of mavui B, even though they're not accustomed to using mavui B. But they joined mavui B shituf. So if they joined the shituf of the one that they're not accustomed to using, but they did not join the shituf of the one that they are accustomed to using, so they're used to using mavui A. They don't use mavui B. They joined mavui B shituf. Is it a problem now for mavui A? No. Even though they usually use mavui A, but by virtue of the fact that they chose to make a shituf in mavui B, that we look upon that as if they removed themselves from mavui A. So as long as mavui A, as long as the 2 remaining chatzeros in mavui A made their own shituf, mavui A is going to be mutter. V'chein, similarly, im hayuragelim shneim. Let's say they're used to using both A and B. V'shituf echad mehem, but they only joined one shituf. Mutter hasheni. The second one will be mutter sharei silek atzmei mimenu, because by virtue of the fact that they made a shituf with one, they removed themselves from the other. Let's say the mavui that they're accustomed to using made a shituf, and the other one did not make a shituf. So here we have an interesting case. The middle chatzar did not join either shituf, not mavui A, not mavui B. Mavui A went ahead and made a shituf. Mavui A is the one that the middle chatzar usually uses. Mavui B did not make a shituf. Okay, so mavui B has a problem. Mavui B didn't make a shituf. So mavui B is asur no matter what. Mavui A made a shituf. They want to be mutter. But the problem is that the middle chatzar, which usually uses mavui A, did not join their shituf. Is the middle chatzar going to asur on mavui A? The answer is no. Even though the middle chatzar is accustomed to using mavui A, since they have a doorway that opens up to mavui B, we're going to force them to use mavui B. Because we're going to say, why not? Why not? If you use mavui B, you're not hurting them. They don't have a shituf anyway. If you use mavui A, you're going to hurt them. They made a shituf. Without you, they're okay. With you, they're asur. So we're going to force them to use mavui B. Because they're not losing anything, because they didn't join the shituf, and for mavui A it's good, because now they're going to be mutter. So So you're going to force the middle chutzner to use mavui b that they're not accustomed to using, because again it's midas time. You don't lose anything, and the people of mavui b don't lose anything, and mavui a stands to gain. So leave them alone. Says the Mechaber in Nun Zayin. This is a kolshke, this is a kavachaymer. Nun ches v'yistalik v'yoyse sheragel. They should remove themselves from the one that they're accustomed to using. Even though the middle chutzner is accustomed to using mavuyeh, they should separate themselves from mavuyeh, because mavuyeh has their own shituf. Without the middle chutzner, they're okay. And they should use mavuyeh. Shelo yavrolov b'Shabbos. They shouldn't go into mavuyeh on Shabbos. Nun tes kaif and isai al midas time. We could force them to use mavui b because it's midas time. You're being like a sodomi. You're going ahead and you're hurting somebody else for no gain to yourself. Sheyavor b'Shabbos derech mavui shaloi nishtatev avol bi she'einu regila boi. They should use mavui b that didn't make their own shituf, even though they don't normally use mavui b. Certainly, if the middle chutzner would be accustomed to using both mavuyeh and mavui, then certainly we would say that the middle chutzner should not use the one that made the shituf, and they should only use the one that did not make the shituf.